Dear students, welcome to our class on agricultural disasters which are minor in nature. As far as major agricultural disasters are concerned, we discussed cyclones, floods, droughts, heat waves, cold waves. Then, earlier we tried to understand what is the classification of disasters. Now, the major, after the coverage of major disasters, there are few minor disasters of them. Number one is wind, okay, harmful effects of wind, beneficial effects of wind, management of winds, then thunderstorms, dust storms, hailstorms, and cloud burst and their management. Then we try to understand excessive or defective insulation, finally tornadoes and water sports. Okay, so these are all the things. So as far as the basic physics is concerned, I defined the atmosphere. Okay, so in the atmosphere there are gaseous molecules. The gaseous molecules in the atmosphere are known as air. Air in its horizontal motion is known as wind. Now, so wind has carbon dioxide, or atmosphere, or air, or wind, all are same only, but technically I defined several times. Now, wind is most essential for the crop. That's why I request you to subscribe to my channel, Agrometeorology, Farmers and Rural Development. There, what is the importance of wind for the crops? I have discussed it there. It has got nitrogen, it has got carbon dioxide, it has got oxygen, it has got whatnot, everything. For photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is available. So, such wind is harmful, okay, it is a minor disaster. Why and where? So, what are the beneficial effects? What are the harmful effects? And how to manage them? Now, wind has its more, from my book only, basic principles and practices of agricultural disaster management. But basics I have covered. Already covered a couple of months back in basics of wind. Now, so wind has its most important effects on crop production indirectly through the transport of moisture and heat. Vegetative growth at zero wind. Vegetative growth at zero wind speed, as experienced in glass houses or under low glass cover, is enormous. Okay. But there is typically a reduction in vegetative growth as the wind increases to small values, so that is 1 to 2 meters per second as far as glass houses are concerned. Now, so what are the beneficial effects? This is one introduction in addition to what I covered in the wind basics. Four basics I have covered, 4 classes. Now, see what are the beneficial effects of wind. Now, moderate or turbulent wind promotes the consumption of carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate during the photosynthesis. So, wind has got carbon dioxide. Prevent frost by disrupting a temperature inversion. What is temperature inversion? Instead of falling of temperature in the troposphere as the height increases, okay, it decreases. So, in the frost conditions, wind helps in the, of course, by disrupting the temperature inversion. Wind dispersal of pollen and seeds is natural and necessary for certain agricultural crops and animal vegetation as well. So, for wind is very, very essential. These are all the beneficial effects of wind. What are the harmful effects of the wind? Wind is which is essential for breathing, for carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis, etc., but it is harmful. Under what conditions? At sustained wind speeds, so that is 12 to 15 meters per second at plant height, plants assume a low dwarf-like form. Okay. While the intermittent high wind speeds experienced in gales and hurricanes results in gross physical damage to bushes and trees. At higher wind speeds, the shape of the orchard trees alters, giving rise to the characteristics wind shaping of trees in exposed positions. Leaves become smaller and thicker, breakage occurs, and bushes and trees are subjected to natural pruning. Okay, so distinct. Of course, in certain cases, there are some direct mechanical damages. That is also one of the harmful effects of the wind. Now, so how to manage the wind? windbreaks and shelter belts. I told in the basics. That's why I request you to subscribe to my channel, Agro-Meteorology, Farmers and Rural Development. There I have covered in addition to that. Management of high winds, the effects of wind on evaporation can be avoided by using proper methods of irrigation, crop management through crop rotations and intercropping. The damaging effect of wind can be reduced over a limited area by the use of shelter belts, rows of trees planted for wind protection, and windbreaks, any structure that reduces the wind speed. So these which will come. There is a slight difference between the windbreaks and shelter belts. What is the first shelter belt? Shelter belt is rows of trees planted for wind protection. That is shelter belt. So what are the windbreaks? Any structure that reduces the wind speed. Z0, okay, reference parameter. Okay, Z0 and reference parameter, Z0 and D. So that's what we call it as far as windbreaks and shelter belts are concerned. Now, crop varieties resistant to lodging, avoid fertilizer application to the crop when wind speed is greater than 20 kilometers per hour. So these are the things as far as wind is concerned. What are the beneficial we discussed, what are the harmful effects, how to manage the winds. Majority of the wind damage can be protected with mixed cropping or crop rotation. Number one, selection of proper varieties, of course windbreaks and shelter belts. Okay, these are all the things that we, the agrometeorologists, shall recommend for the benefit for the benefit of the farmers. Now, what is effective or of course some excessive. Next one is the thunderstorms, dust storms, hailstorms, and cloud bursts. So it's very these are minor damage agricultural disasters. Still, the storms are known as local severe storms. It is estimated that at any given instant of time, more than 2,000 thunderstorms are taking place around the world. At any given time, 2,000 thunderstorms occurs. Okay, at any, even now when I am taking the class, 2,000 are occurring. Of course, that's why it's a minor damage. Now, a thunderstorm is dreaded for the hazardous weather elements associated with it, such as lightning, hail, strong horizontal winds with sheer and heavy rain. These are mesoscale phenomena. These are not the troposcale. These are the mesoscale local. Okay, mesoscale phenomena with the horizontal dimensions of 1 to 10 kilometers. So that's why these storms, thunderstorms, dust storms, hailstorms, and the cloud bursts come under the minor disasters. So these are formed in a situation where a great deal of energy for their genesis and development comes from the release of the latent heat of condensation in rising humid air. The local storms cause severe damage to the standing crop by causing mechanical injury to the plants. Plants are mechanically damaged. That means stems are broken or leaves are leaf dropping or flower dropping or fruit dropping. All these things will occur. In dust storm, the dust is raised by the wind, covers a small plant with of course, this may cause stomata closure and suffocation. So dust covers the leaves of the plantation crops or the crops. So the physiological activities that are to be performed, that is photosynthesis, respiration, different enzymatic reactions, all are affected due to smallest of the small dust particles covered by dust particles on the leaves, even flowers also. Okay, that's what. So any thunderstorm that reduces hails. Okay, see, actually all the thunderstorms produce hails. This is in general. Okay, which reaches the ground is known as we call it as a hailstorm. Their diameter ranges from 5 millimeters to 15 centimeters and weight up to 0.5 kg. Unlike ice pellets, hailstones are layered and irregular and clumped together. These hailstones cause enormous damage to the standing crop, particularly during the months of March ending and April in the torrid zones. So they cause enormous damage. Paddy comes to the harvest, rabi paddy. So the grains shatter. So see, the hard work of 3.5 months just goes within 15 minutes of a hailstorm. Now, as far as cloudburst is concerned, cloudburst is a rain gust or rain gush, okay, is a sudden heavy downpour over a small region. It is a remarkably localized mesoscale phenomenon. It is remarkably a localized mesoscale phenomenon with rainfall of more than 100 millimeters per hour, area not exceeding 20 to 30 square kilometers with strong winds and lightning. Cloud burst represents cumulonimbus convection in conditions of marked moisture, thermodynamic instability, and deep rapid dynamic lifting by steep orography. Orography means, that's why I request you, please go to the basics, mountainous regions, orography, okay? Now, most of the damage to property, communication systems and human casualties result from the flash floods that accompany the cloud burst. Cloud bursts are most common in the hilly areas, Himachal Pradesh, as far as India is concerned, Himachal Pradesh, in certain parts of the Kashmir and in certain parts of northern parts of Uttar Pradesh. So flash floods are most common. So hails cause direct damage to crops by lodging and shattering of the seeds depending upon their intensity, that's what I told. Premature dropping of the fruits, mangoes for example, or coconuts. Shattering of the rice crop seeds, okay, grains. So how to manage these storms? What are those storms? Thunderstorm, duststorm, hailstorm, cloud burst. So how to manage them? Very interesting, very simple. We should take home to the farmers. We should protect the interest of the farmer. How? Prevention of hails by hail suppression techniques. Afforestation to protect the soil from dust storm, use of organic fertilizers, establishment of tree belts and wind breaks, leaving the stubbles in the field after harvest of the crop, altering spring crops with winter crops, cover the orchards with hail nets, following forecasts of weather by the hydrometeorological service of any country, spraying of salt on harvested paddy to prevent the germination or sprouting of the harvested produce. So this is how we can control or manage the thunderstorms, dust storms, hailstorms and the cloud bursts. So far we try to understand what is the wind, what are the harmful effects of wind, what are the beneficial effects of wind, how to manage the wind damage, particularly for wind breaks and shutter okay. Before that, we should go for some sort of variety. We should choose the varieties that have got very good phenology. That's what. Now, so defective or excessive insulation. Okay, excessive or defective. In general, what happens is as sun rays falls, both in the morning as well as in the evening, if any orchard crop is there, or you can say in any crop field is there, huge amount of clouds against the sun's rays. Sun's rays are falling like this, huge amount of the clouds on the other side. So most of the radiant energy is reflected. All of a sudden the intensity increases for short spells. This is first cause. I repeat once again. Sun is, I am facing the east, behind me is the west. To my left side is the north, to my right side is the south. Now, against the sun's rays. So sun is rising, okay. Eastern side, western side, huge clouds are there. What happens? Much of the radiant energy that is falling on the clouds is all of a sudden falling on the crops, or you can say orchards. When it is in the flowering stage, flowers get burnt. Now, pollen, sometimes pollen burst occurs. No question of any good fertilization as far as cross-pollinated crops are concerned. Above all, short episodes of high-intensity solar radiation give shocks to the plants so that their natural growth is affected. Another thing is defective insulation. During a day when cloud is there for more than 7 or 8 hours in a day, say morning 8 o'clock to evening 4 or 5 o'clock. That is the time when most of the physiological activities in the crops take place or in the orchard plants. So clouds are there. Most of the radiant energy is reflected back into the space. Whatever is passing to the cloud in the form of either diffused or you can say scattered, it it has less of VIB, ZY over 0.4 to 0.7 microns region. Most of it is thermal energy, whatever is coming, so it affects the plant. That's what we call it as the excessive or defective insulation. So how to manage these things? Once again, I would like to read from my book. So what I told only, excessive solar radiation results in rise of soil and air temperature. Defective insulation with the consistent cloudy weather on one hand and consistently bright and high intensity sunshine on the other hand causes enormous damage to the crop. That's what I told. Cloudy weather retard the growth, affect pollination and cause disease and pest incidents. From my book only I am telling now. So high solar radiation intensity cause pollen burst and flower drop. So that's what see, this I learned from IMD, India Meteorological Department, Pune. Virtually we saw a crop that is affected, an orchard plantation when I had gone for training. That's why. So it is my practical experience. Now, how to manage this excessive or defective insulation? Since these are very rare and local specific, proper site selection, allowing for air drainage, adequate water supply, pruning of the orchard trees, spray of chemicals and plant hormones when excessive or defective insulation occurs, covering of the plants with hot caps. That's what covering the plants with some standard and recommended material may prove beneficial. So the next one is the tornadoes. So what are the tornadoes? I just would like to impress upon you what is a tornado. A tornado, by definition, so upward spiral movement of the air, we call it as a tornado. Tornado are originated from a strong cumulonimbus clouds which has got high charge in them, strong, say upward spiral movement of the air like this, upward spiral movement of the air. So this is. So what is upward spiral movement of the air? A cumulonimbus cloud is there. A cumulonimbus cloud. See, I told several times, high clouds are cirrus, cirrocumulus, cirrostratus. Middle clouds are altocumulus, altostratus. Low clouds are stratocumulus, stratus, nimbostratus. The clouds that give the rain are nimbostratus. Okay. There are two types of clouds as far as tropical regions are concerned. One is the one which looks like cauliflower, cumulus cloud. The next one is the cumulonimbus cloud. From the cumulonimbus cloud, what happens is, if a cumulonimbus cloud is there, from a cumulonimbus cloud, this is the cumulonimbus cloud, for example. So a funnel shaped structure develops, a funnel shape in which upward spiral, this bit will come, that's why I am telling, upward spiral movement of the air, upward spiral movement of the air. So what happens, it has a lot of energy. On a very hot sunny day, the surface temperature is very high. The surface temperature is very high, and then a cloud is passing, and then a funnel shaped structure develops, and then it touches the ground. Now, upward spiral movement of the air on its way, it goes with a very high speed. When it is moving, it takes tractors, it takes so much of fodder that is kept for the animals, some transport, farm transport material, whatnot. They all enter into the cloud and then through the funnel shaped cloud, and then it is left over at a distance of sometimes few meters to a half kilometer, sometimes even slightly lesser than or more than half kilometer distance. So extensive damage occurs. We should not and must not allow. Suppose if it is happening on the land, we call it as a tornado. Same situation happens on the water surfaces. We call it as the water spout. Tornadoes are on the land. If they are happening on the water surfaces, tornadoes on water surfaces, we call it as the water spouts. What are the water spouts? Water spouts are those minor agricultural disaster situations, in which from a cumulonimbus cloud, high charged cumulonimbus clouds, a funnel shaped extension, and then water is lifted. Along with the water, if fish is there, fish enters. If frogs are there, frog enters. That's why it's called as the fishes and frogs rain occurs. All of a sudden, these are sucked into the cumulonimbus cloud, and after a little draft, so they are thrown away within 1 or 2 kilometers away from that. So this is how the tornadoes water sports occur. And I just from my book what I would like to press upon you. This is a violent, destructive tornado. This is a violent, destructive storm of long vertical and small horizontal diameter. Long vertical. That's why I told. Cirrus, cirrocumulus, cirrostratus, no. Altocumulus, altostratus, no. Stratocumulus, stratus, nimbostratus, no. Cumulus clouds, no. Cumulonimbus clouds, that's what we call it as the CB clouds. From the CB clouds, okay, CB, cumulonimbus cloud, high charge cumulonimbus clouds, they originate, and a small horizontal dimension, maybe 2 or 3 or maximum few kilometers, not beyond that, depending upon the intensity and time. So a cumulonimbus cloud forms into a funnel shape with a vortex extending from the base of the storm to the surface, okay, to the surface. So the whirlwind encircles a small dimensions of about 500 meters. So these are capable of causing severe structural and other damages. The violent winds associated with this abnormality are strong upward air currents. This bit will come in the JRF, SRF. Take this from me. Always a question is asked. Okay, even in the introductory, this will upward spiral movement of the air or upward, okay, air currents. The tornadoes occurring on water are known as water sport. This bit also will come. So how to manage it? There are 3 ways: warning in advance, precautions to protect the agriculture produce like transportation to safety places, quick removal of the debris immediately after damage. So this is how the wind, the storms, the excessive or defective insulation, and tornadoes come under the category of agriculture disaster minor. So thanking you for your patient hearing. May God bless you.